Have you noticed how Perplexity is changing the way we search online? It gives you instant answers backed by reliable sources, perfect for research, brand monitoring, or just staying informed. I'm Iveta from Oxylabs, and in this video, I'll show you how to scrape Perplexity using our Web Scraper API, so you can unlock its data for your own projects. Perplexity isn't just a general-use LLM chatbot. It is specifically built for searching the web and returning responses based on the results, transparently displaying the sources it used. This method effectively reduces hallucinations in the LLM response, providing a more reliable tool for gathering information than most generic LLMs. The fact that Perplexity displays the sources it used for generating its answers provides transparency and the ability to verify and analyze the data yourself. It also provides the opportunity to monitor the sources used for specific prompts by Perplexity to obtain results. Let's examine how the Web Scraper API can assist us in doing just that. For this tutorial, we'll be using Python to access the API. You can begin by creating a virtual environment. We'll also need to install the requests library, which we'll use to access the API. Run these lines to do just that. Next, let's open a new Python file called main.py and import the installed requests library along with JSON and datetime. Once that's done, we can start forming our API request for scraping Perplexity. The first step is to define a function that will scrape Perplexity with a provided prompt. We'll be able to reuse this function later on to compare the different results returned by the API. The function should be called scrape Perplexity and should accept a prompt argument. Now that the function is defined, let's start forming our HTTP request. We can start by defining our payload. It should consist of the prompt, a source parameter set to Perplexity, a geolocation parameter, and parse set to true. By setting parse to true, it tells the API to return the data neatly organized in JSON format so we don't have to process the HTML ourselves. For the geolocation, we'll be using the US for this example. You could also try switching up the geolocation if you want to compare how Perplexity is replying in different countries. With that out of the way, we can proceed to sending the HTTP request and receiving a response. Before we do that, we need to authenticate with the API. You'll need to get your credentials from the Oxylabs dashboard for that. Once that's defined, let's send out the post request together with the body and credentials. Let's also add a print statement with the received response so we can have a closer look. If we call the declared function with a prompt like top programming languages in 2025, we can see that we get a result like this. As you can see, the API returns a structured response containing the sources Perplexity used, the text it responded with, as well as a pre-parsed list containing the results. However, to guarantee that Perplexity always gives us the required format, let's add this line to the prompt to make it easier to extract the data. Let's return to the function for now and modify it so it can return some data instead of just printing it out. The Web Scraper API returns additional fields along with the data from Perplexity, some of which we don't need at the moment. Let's parse the retrieved response so we can return only the things we need from the function. We can do that by extracting the list of results together with the top sources it retrieved. Let's store that in a separate dictionary together with a timestamp field. Timestamp will help us track when the API call was made. Return the object from the scrape Perplexity function. Now that we have a reusable function for scraping data from Perplexity, let's use it for something more valuable. We can use this function to retrieve the data from Perplexity and store it in a file. This allows us to collect data about a specific, currently relevant topics, allowing us to compare the results later on. Let's try calling the function with a prompt about something relevant now, such as latest breakthroughs in AI. We can now store the response in a JSON file for later analysis. You can run the script every day and build a day-to-day dataset of AI breakthroughs that Perplexity cites in its responses. Having a dataset like that lets us monitor how a relevant topic is covered by Perplexity daily. And since Perplexity provides a list of sources, it makes it possible to validate the sources ourselves and gain even more insight from that. If you have any questions regarding the API, email support@oxylabs.io or write to us via the live chat on our homepage. Also, consider joining our Discord community where we discuss all things web scraping. Thank you for watching and see you next time.